Have you ever been in this situation, sleeping with your enemy, but you never want to wake up? My fingers trace the soft curve of Cam's jaw, tangling in her brown hair. Then, bang, bang. "Mommy, open up! I need your razor! It's getting wild down here!" Taylor shrieks. I shove Cam's bare shoulder. "Out the window, now!" I throw her clothes at her face, forcing her onto the freezing ledge. I crack the door open. Taylor pushes past me, sniffing the air. "Why does it smell like sweat and love?" "You're delusional." I pegged my razor at her chest and pushed her out. Outside, Cam shivers on the narrow bricks, clutching her jeans. Need a hand there, Captain?" Mia's voice drifts up from the courtyard. Cam scrambles to cover her bare stomach. "Grab me a ladder. I was, pranking them, you know?" Mia snorts. "Right. Usually pranks don't require taking your own pants off." I slump against the wood, my chest heaving as the lock clicks into place. Yeah, the 15-minute rule, broken. Just like every other pathetic boundary I tried to set. Enemies outside the door. No jealousy. 15 minutes maximum. No catching feelings. I repeat the rules in my head like a failing mantra. In one single week, we shattered the contract. The jealousy rule died 2 days ago when she was fixing her hair in my mirror. I casually asked who she was dressing up for, and she just smirked, telling me to mind my own business. My chest burned for hours. And the 15-minute rule? Shredded this morning. But rule 4 is safe. No catching feelings. I cling to that one like a life raft. I am Victoria. Cam is just a ghost of a messy crush. She means nothing. I made that crystal clear after I carried her out of the woods. When the Greek life group chats exploded with rumors, I shut it down in the dining hall. "I'm just a girl's girl," I announced to my sisters, making sure my voice carried to her table. "We're just frenemies." The word friend hit her. I saw her jaw tick, a flash of raw hurt in her dark eyes before she turned away. I need to lock my walls back up and act serious, but ever since I shoved her out my window, she is icing me out. I crossed paths with her outside the lecture hall today, ready to throw a calculated glare, but she doesn't even blink in my direction. And I hate how much it stings. That sting morphs into an ugly burn the second I catch her laughing with Chris by the quad. I don't even think. I step right between them, freezing Chris out with a sharp glare until he mumbles an awkward excuse and scurries away. "What were you two discussing?" Cam rolls her eyes. "You don't care who I talk to, and I don't care who you talk to. Remember? I bite the inside of my cheek hard enough to taste copper, hating that she is right about my own stupid rule. I dig into my leather bag, yank out 2 courtside basketball tickets, and shove them flat against her chest. I had extras. It's not a date, okay? She catches the paper, the annoyance melting off her face. A small, genuine smile breaks through, buying me temporary forgiveness. But I sabotage that fragile piece 2 hours later, when she realizes I brought Taylor and 3 other Kappa Delta sisters to the arena. Just a group outing. I ignore the hollow drop in my own stomach as she sinks into the seat beside me, keeping a guarded distance. The game is a blur of squeaking sneakers and deafening buzzers. I am barely watching the court. My pulse is hammering a frantic rhythm against my ribs because the Jumbotron is sweeping the crowd for the kiss cam. Part of me is terrified the giant glowing screen will lock onto us, exposing this messy secret to thousands of people. But a darker, louder part of me is holding my breath, desperate for the lens to force my hand. I want the excuse. I want the universe to give me a reason to touch her. The screen flashes. The neon red heart frames Cam. But I am not in the shot. The camera zoomed in on Cam and the random blonde sitting on her left. The crowd roars. The blonde giggles, tucking a hair behind her ear and leaning in. The perfect Kappa Delta facade drops. I just see red. I grab the collar of Cam's jersey, hauling her away from the blonde, and crash my mouth against hers. I kiss her hard, claiming every inch of her breath, letting the whole arena watch. When I finally pull back, the crowd is screaming. Cam is flushed, her dark eyes dazed and blown wide. If this video leaks, you can't use the girl's girl excuse anymore. I look up and see Taylor and my sisters staring at me with their jaws on the floor. Cold terror floods my veins. I just like kissing people. I'm Victoria the Kisser. My voice is pitching into a hysterical octave. Taylor crosses her arms, a mocking smirk on her lips. Let's be honest, Vic. No, for real. A stadium worker is climbing the stairs next to our row, carrying a massive tray of snacks. I grab the poor girl's wrist, yank her down onto my lap, and plant a meaningless kiss on her mouth. She shrieks. The tray flips backward. A mountain of hot cheese, jalapenos, and nachos launches into the air, raining down in a downpour right onto the bald head of the university dean sitting in the row below us. That fluorescent downpour earns the Kappa Delta House the most humiliating punishment in university history. The dean ordered us to act as glorified equipment managers for the Zeta Mu soccer team's away game this weekend. I have a 3 o'clock hot stone massage booked. I adjusted my designer sunglasses as we marched across campus, dragging heavy coolers of Gatorade. I have a chemical peel. I would rather drop out than carry dirty towels for a bunch of lesbians going to a soccer match. You're the biggest lesbian here. Taylor sighs, shifting a bag of shin guards on her shoulder. I glare at her, reaching over to pinch the soft skin of her arm until she yelps. When we reach the Zeta Mu house, the humiliation gets worse. Cam is standing by the porch, gripping her clipboard. She doesn't even look at me. She just walks right past, her shoulder clipping mine hard enough to make me stumble. The coldness in her eyes is a physical ache in my chest. She is still furious about my pathetic cover-up at the arena. Meeting in the rec room in 5. Cam barks at her team, leaving me standing in the dust. I can't stand it. I can't let her ice me out. I slip through the side door before the team even shows up. I drop to my knees and slide under Cam's desk at the head of the room. The thick wooden panel facing the chairs hides me in the shadows. I sit in the dark, breathing in the smell of cheap turf shoes, and wait. 5 minutes later, the door bangs open, and her signature cleats step right into my trap. I settle between her knees. Above me, Cam clears her throat. All right, listen up. Our midfield transition is... I reach up. I want to erase the hurt I caused. I want to ruin her focus. Cam's voice sharply cuts off. She lets out a strangled gasp. As I was saying, Cam stammers and trembling. Her thighs tense, trying to shift away, but I hold her in place. We need to push the offensive line. Her breath shudders. Above the table, the team is dead silent, clearly confused. Bang! Cam slams her palm flat against the wood. Pay attention! It is supposed to sound like she is scolding her teammates, but the frantic grip of her fingers tangling into my hair tells me exactly who that warning is for. 10 minutes later, I strut out of the side door into the hallway, feeling smug, powerful, and deeply refreshed. I fixed it! I won! Taylor leans against the wall, eyeing me up and down. Did you find a water fountain in there, Vic? My blood runs cold. I swipe the back of my hand across my lips, catching the unmistakable shine on my skin. Pure panic seizes my throat, and I turn on my heels, sprinting down the hallway like the building is on fire. The heat of that fire follows me all the way onto the cramped charter bus. This is a nightmare, huh, Tay? I slump into the cracked leather seat. Taylor just hums. Her eyes are shaped like giant cartoon hearts as she shamelessly tracks Mia and the other soccer girls hauling their duffels down the aisle. Then I spot Cam. Panic and desperate hope war in my chest. I kick Taylor hard in the shin, shoving her into the empty row across from us. Hey, Taylor yelps. I need legroom. Cam stops at my row, eyeing the empty seat with heavy reluctance. She sits down, stiff and silent. I thought my under-the-table stunt fixed us, but the cold, rigid set of her jaw proves she is still bruised over my public denial at the basketball game. The silence between us aches, but hours into the dark highway drive, exhaustion wins. Cam falls asleep, her head dropping heavily onto my shoulder. My breath hitches. I carefully lace my fingers through hers, holding on tight. We never make it to the destination. The engine dies, stranding us at a sketchy roadside motel with peeling wallpaper and one tiny bed. I try to act cool and unaffected, right up until a massive brown cockroach spreads its wings and flies at my face. I shriek, launching myself directly into Cam's arms, clinging to her neck like my life depends on it. Somehow, the terror breaks the ice. Late that night, we are tangled together on the lumpy mattress, whispering soft, sweet, rule-breaking things in the dark. The door bursts open. We scramble apart just as Taylor and the soccer team pile into the room, shivering and wide-eyed. "This place is haunted," Mia yells. I glare at them, my heart pounding against my ribs. "Are you out of your minds?" Taylor slams a Ouija board onto the mattress. We are proving it. 5 minutes later, we are forced into a tight circle, our fingers resting on the plastic planchette. "Is this motel haunted?" Taylor whispers. The piece slides to yes. "Oh my God!" I roll my eyes so hard they hurt. "You are obviously pushing the thing, Tay. I need to test it more," she insists, glaring at me. "Spirits, how many tampons do I have in my purse?" The planchette glides to the number 6. "Yes, it's true!" My patience snaps. "One more dumb question, and I will smash this board into your face." Taylor grins, wicked. "Oh, spirits, what did Vic do in the Zeta Mu meeting room today?" My stomach drops. The planchette moves to E, then C. Taylor gasps dramatically. "EC? Eating cooch? I knew it!" I grab the board and chuck it straight at her head. "Get the f*** out!" Face burning hotter than a furnace. Taylor scrambles out the door, cackling with the rest of the team. I groan, collapsing face first into the scratchy motel pillows. Beside me, Cam lets out a long, heavy sigh. Guess the enemies in public rule is out the window. God damn it, I mumble into the lumpy pillow, though my own brand of crazy doesn't fully take over until we make it to the actual tournament the next day. Playing glorified water boy for Zeta Mu is humiliating, but I stand on the sidelines, gripping a plastic clipboard, my chest tight. Every time Cam takes a hit on the turf, my heart stutters. I am silently begging the universe for her to win, the anxiety winding my nerves so tight I might snap. Then the final whistle blows. They win! Her teammates swarm her in a messy, sweaty pile, lifting her up onto their shoulders. Cam throws her head back and laughs. Her face is flushed, glowing with pure joy. The deafening noise of the stadium fades into static. My breath catches in my throat. The realization hits me like a gun to my heart. She is so breathtakingly beautiful. I am terrified of how much I want her. Hours later, the adrenaline crash takes her down. We make it to the upgraded team hotel to wash off the grime before the victory party, but by the time I step out of the bathroom, Cam is already out cold. She is sprawled across the white sheets, fast asleep, wearing nothing but a damp towel. I stand frozen at the edge of the mattress. I should let her rest. I should put on my makeup and act normal. But the image of her radiant smile on that field is burning a hole in my chest, melting down my last line of defense. My pulse hammers a frantic rhythm in my ears. I crawl onto the bed, leaning down to wake her up the only way my selfish heart knows how. Admit it, princess. You've never stepped foot in a food market before. Cam's teasing pulls me out of my head. I tug my bucket hat lower, glaring at the neon signs and grease-stained food stalls surrounding us. You know what they say. With great hotness comes great responsibility. My trainer would have a stroke if I even breathed in this much fried dough. Cam laughs, bumping her hip against mine. She stops walking and gives me this ridiculous pouty look. Big puppy dog eyes that are just so unfair. Please, just one night of cheap carbs. For me? She threads her warm fingers through mine, swinging our arms as she drags me toward a loud arcade tent. I will even win you a stuffed bear. I only accept Chanel, I mutter, but I let her pull me anyway. For the first time since we met, the frantic energy radiating off Cam is gone. She looks at me with this soft, unguarded trust that makes my chest ache. Every time she smiles, a terrifying warm flutter erupts in my stomach. It feels domestic. It feels real. Then my phone buzzes. I pull it out, squinting at the screen. A text from my mother. The new private chef forgot your father's pepper allergy at dinner. We handled it. He will never find work in this state again. All the warmth in my blood turns to ice. Handled. I know exactly what that word means in my family. It means a ruthless barrage of corporate lawyers. It means destroyed reputations, frozen bank accounts, crushed lives. It is the exact same method they used on the woman my father actually loved before he was forced to marry my mother. She was lower class, a nobody. My grandfather dug his claws in and erased her from existence, turning my parents' marriage into a cold, hollow tomb. My family is a slaughterhouse. I look up from the glowing screen. Cam is jogging back to me, holding a ridiculous pink cloud of cotton candy. Her smile is blinding under the cheap string lights. She is so unguarded, so full of a bright future she fought hard to build. And she is a scholarship athlete with no trust fund, no legacy, no armor. What am I kidding? This was always going to end in a train wreck. There is no fairy tale future for us. The gap between our worlds is too wide, too deep, and it will eventually swallow us both. My parents will chew her up and spit her out, and we do not stand a chance. Why drag this out until it ruins us? I have to cut the cord. Now. Before this stupid illusion shatters and takes me down with it. Cam holds out the cotton candy, her eyes crinkling. Got you the pink one. I swat her hand away. The stick drops, the pink sugar rolling onto the dirty asphalt. Cam flinches, her hand hovering in the empty air between us. I have to go, I snap, dripping with sudden venomous ice. Cam blinks, the joy draining from her face in real time. What? We just got here. Did something happen? I step back and stare at her with dead eyes. I said I have to go. Stop being so obsessed with me, Cam. The word should have been my armor, but it feels like a knife twisting in my own chest. I spend the next 3 days suffocating in my sprawling, lonely room, repeating our stupid rules like a desperate prayer to keep myself sane. I did the right thing. I saved her from the elite meat grinder. Then I make the fatty mistake of checking Instagram. A fresh post shows Cam laughing at an indie coffee shop, and the girl leaning in to hand her a pastry is Susie. Susie, the unapologetically queer trust fund artist who actually belongs in my social bracket and does not care what society thinks. My noble savior complex shatters into a million pieces. The thought of Susie touching her, making her smile the way she smiled at me, turns me deranged. Which explains why I am currently standing on a concrete pedestal in an outdoor sculpture garden, covered head to toe in metallic gold body paint. Such a fascinating piece, Susie muses, adjusting her designer glasses as they stop right in front of my pedestal. I hold my breath, forcing my painted limbs to stay frozen. Cam steps closer. She doesn't look fooled for a second. Her dark eyes trace the outline of my gold face, a bitter, knowing smirk tugging at her lips. Sure, looks expensive, but it is hollow on the inside. Honestly, it is probably the most worthless piece in the whole exhibit. My jaw locks. The urge to break character and strangle her is unbearable. I wait until they wander toward the modern art wing before yanking my phone from my gold spandex waistband. I need you to eliminate the Susie problem now. Taylor sighs on the other end. Only if you get me courtside tickets for my next date with Mia. I roll my eyes. Again with this Zeta Mu? Have some standards. Fine, deal. Just get rid of her. 5 minutes later, Taylor executes the mission. A strategic bump in the crowd, a quick sleight of hand, and a small abstract sculpture drops perfectly into Susie's oversized tote bag. Security swarms them seconds later, dragging a very confused, protesting Susie toward the front gates. Cam stands alone, blinking at the chaos. I step off my pedestal, grab her elbow, and drag her behind a massive marble pillar into the shadows. What the hell? Cam wrestles her arm free. The gold paint from my glove smears across her outfit. You are not dating her, I grit out, crowding into her space. What happened to the rules? She shoots back. You don't get to care. The smug defiance in her eyes snaps the last thread of my sanity. I grab her face, pulling her down, and smash my mouth against hers. It is frantic, messy, and tastes like metallic chemicals. For one split second, her hands grip my waist. But then she shoves me hard against the cold stone. Gold paint streaks across her lips and cheek. She wipes her mouth with the back of her hand, looking at me with pure disgust. Smack! Her palm connects with my cheek. The sting is sharp, hot, and well-deserved. You made your choice, Vic. Leave me alone. I spend the next 14 days choking on my pride, staring at my ceiling at 4 a.m., missing the ghost of her hands on my waist. I am suffocating without her, but my ego doesn't know how to apologize. It only knows how to buy things. The annual Greek Gala offers the perfect cowardly loophole. I swipe my black card and have a custom emerald silk gown delivered anonymously to her dorm. A pathetic plea wrapped in designer labels. My dad's hedge fund is seeing record returns this quarter. Chad adjusts his bow tie as we step into the ballroom. Riveting, Chad. Truly mind-blowing. I deadpan, my eyes scanning the sea of tuxedos and sequins. Are you even listening to me? No, shut up for a second. My pulse hammering a frantic rhythm against my ribs. The heavy oak doors swing open. The air leaves my lungs. Cam steps into the blinding light. The emerald silk clings to every curve, the thigh-high slit highlighting her athletic build. She looks dangerous. She looks breathtaking. A fierce, smug thrill ignites in my chest. She wore my dress. She understood the assignment. That victorious high crashes and burns the second Susie materializes from the crowd, looping her arm intimately through Cam's. My vision goes red. I need a drink, I tell Chad, abandoning him mid-sentence. I stalk toward the ice sculpture display, ducking behind a towering pyramid of champagne flutes, just as Cam and Susie walk by. I still can't believe you did this. Cam looks uncharacteristically shy as she smooths her hands over the silk. Thank you for the dress, Susie. It is way too expensive. I don't even know how to repay you. Susie smirks. I saw it and knew it was made for you. Green is your color. You have amazing taste. Just knowing you like it and wanted to be my date tonight is enough, Susie replies, casually brushing a stray hair behind Cam's ear. White, hot static fills my ears. My blood turns to lava. My dress, my money, my exquisite taste, and this pretentious, thieving fraud is just standing there, taking all the credit. I want to march over there, drag Susie out of the building by her asymmetrical hair and expose her. I want to pin Cam against the wall, tear that silk right off her body, and remind her exactly whose label she is wearing. Victoria, look this way, a photographer calls out, his bright lens pointing right at my face. "Stunning as always, Vic," Taylor whispers, popping up beside me out of nowhere. "Why do you look like you want to commit murder?" "Because I do." I force my mouth into a pristine Kappa Delta smile for the flashing cameras. That fake smile stays glued to my face as Chad drags me onto the dance floor. The string quartet plays a slow waltz, but it sounds like underwater static. I let Chad spin me, but my focus is locked on one target across the room, Cam. She is swaying in Susie's arms. Even from 50 feet away, the pole between us is a suffocating weight. She isn't looking at her date. Her dark eyes are fixed dead on me, burning with fresh heartbreak and blatant defiance. We are dancing with different people, but the way she looks at me feels like hands on my bare skin. My breath snags. Susie shifts closer, her fingers tracing the low dip of the emerald silk to rest firmly on Cam's waist. An ugly possessiveness claws at my chest. I narrow my eyes, shooting a silent warning across the room. "Move your hand." Cam reads it. Her chin tilts up. She leans further into Susie's hold, silently challenging me. "What are you gonna do about it?" Susie rises on her tiptoes, leaning in to steal a kiss. Something dark and feral snaps inside me. "Hey, what are—" Chad stammers. I shove him hard. I don't care that he trips over his own shoes. I don't care who is watching us. I storm straight through the crowd, ripping a blind path through the dancers. I reach them a split second before Susie's lips touch hers. My hand shoots out, my acrylic nails digging sharp and deep into Cam's wrist. Cam gasps. Susie stumbles back in pure shock. "We are leaving," I grate out. I don't give her a second to argue. I yank her forward, hauling her away from the whispering crowd, and drag my girl in my dress right out of the building. I spin around the second my heels sink into the soft turf of the athletic field, tears of sheer panic already burning my eyes. "You are such an idiot. Do you really think Susie can afford custom emerald silk?" Cam doesn't flinch. She just stands there in the dark, looking so incredibly tired. "So what?" "So stop!" My voice cracks, the Ice Queen shattering into desperate pieces. "Please, Cam, please do not love anyone else. Do not go on dates with them. Just don't." Cam lets out a heavy, hollow sigh. "Then what are we? You forbid me from being with anyone else, but you force me to stand in the shadows and watch you smile on some guy's arm? I am exhausted. I cannot play this game anymore." She takes a slow step forward, pinning me under a devastatingly steady gaze. "You love your rules so much? Fine, you win. I broke the last one. I have feelings for you." My breath stops. "And I know you like me too," she continues, softening and pleading. "We broke the whole contract, Victoria. Just throw the stupid thing away. Be with me for real. Can we please just do that?" The words hit me like a freight train. Be with me for real. The terrifying weight of that demand crushes my chest. Real means stepping out of our safe, secret bubble. It means navigating the endless questions, the staring eyes, and the glaring imbalance between my world and her reality. It means giving her the power to break my heart. I am a walking disaster disguised in designer clothes. If we do this for real, she will eventually figure that out and leave. My hands start to shake. I take a desperate step backward, shaking my head. "No, I can't. Choosing you? I don't know how to do this. I can't." This time, Cam doesn't reach for me. She doesn't try to soothe my panic. The warmth in her dark eyes dies, leaving behind a cold, bottomless disappointment that hurts worse than a physical blow. Then we are done. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. We are done. She turns her back on me. I watch the emerald silk fade into the black of the night, taking all the air in my lungs with it. My knees buckle. I collapse onto the cold turf, burying my face in my trembling hands, sobbing until my ribs crack.